Howdy, I am Charlie Simons, your host here on Do Not Talk, talking about two things you're never supposed to talk about: politics and religion. One decides what life is going to be like here on earth. The other one decides what it's going to be like when we leave it. You better be getting it right now. You better be getting it right here on earth, because the Lord's coming and he's coming back and he's going to take us home. Those of us who believe in him, follow him, Christ Jesus, my Lord and Savior. That's coming. And as he taught us to pray, as disciples, as apostles, to pray, "Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven." If you don't believe that and you're not taking that seriously, I don't know what to tell you. I hope you get right after what happened with Charlie Kirk. It was an awful, horrific, horrible thing, and it just happened last week, and I'm still stunned. I'm still mourning the thing, but I am, like Benny Johnson said, full of righteous indignation and anger. I really am still. Sam Anthony is on my show today. Love Sam Anthony. You can catch him at yournews.com. Well, you don't see him on there. That's his platform. He's replacing newspapers as we have always known them. And there's podcasters on there too, including me. I'm glad to be a part of that. Yournews.com. He and I have talked many times about the effect of the media and how they have unfortunately been controlled by the devil himself. They've been doing their father's work just as quickly as possible, for their time is short. They are basically the epitome of lying liars, and the liars they lie to. It's one of my phrases I made up. Lying liars and the liars they lie to. That is the media as we know it. But it's going away, as Sam has covered many times. He has given numbers and statistics, and here's what's happening with their viewership. Here's what is happening with their advertisers. And we've seen a shift, haven't we now, with what has happened with Charlie Kirk and people, supposedly reputable people, medical professions, education, politicians, going on social media, basically applauding the murder of that family man in front of over 1,000 people who were there at that event at Valley University in Utah. We've been seeing a backlash. For the first time, we're flipping the script. We're turning over the table, so to speak, in that we are reporting them. For years now, we've been doxxed. We've been reported. I don't know how many times I've had some fact checker shut down something that I posted, which was complete truth, oftentimes quoted right out of the Bible. One time, over a month, I was taken off Facebook, and they threatened total deletion, which they have now done. Over 2 months ago, they deleted every one of my pages and Instagram, which is owned by Facebook, for something I posted that they didn't even bother telling me it was. It violated community standards. That's it. They took away everything. That was my voice. That's what I had chosen to focus on. That's my mistake. I'm now trying to correct that. So if you can share these shows and like and follow the channels that they're on, like rumble.com/do-not-talk, so you get notified when I do new shows. Or you'll always find them now on my website. Thank God for that. It is the best website. $500 goodbye. It was at charliesimons.com. All my shows are on there. So if I go away, all of a sudden you don't see me on the air anymore. It's not because I'm not doing shows, but you'll find them at charliesimons.com. Please let me know how to keep in touch with you too. By joining Team Charlie, you'll find that on the right side of the page. Join Team Charlie. And I'm not going to spam you. I'm not going to do all that stupid stuff. I'm not going to try and sell you on anything. It's just so we can keep in touch when all hell breaks loose. And it's coming. In fact, it was predicted back in 1958. See how much this sounds like now.
Part of that plan, of course, is to induce the gradual surrender of American sovereignty, piece by piece and step by step, to various international organizations, of which the United Nations is the outstanding but far from the only example. Now, here are the aims for the United States. One, greatly expanded government spending for every conceivable means of getting rid of ever larger sums of American money as wastefully as possible.
Yep.
Two, higher and then much higher taxes. Three, an increasingly unbalanced budget despite the higher taxes. Four, wild inflation of our currency. Five, government controls of prices, wages, and materials, supposedly to combat inflation.
Right.
Six, greatly increased socialistic controls over every operation of our economy and every activity of our daily lives. This is to be accompanied naturally and automatically by a correspondingly huge increase in the size of our bureaucracy and in both the cost and reach of our domestic government.
Higher than ever before.
Seven, far more centralization of power in Washington and the practical elimination of our state lines.
I'm thinking Robert Welch definitely would have been MAGA. He would have been voting for and pushing for President Donald Trump, who's trying to reverse all that. That goes back 66 years ago. Does it not sound like today? Sam Anthony from YourNews.com on Do Not Talk. Are you ready? Hit it. Dude.
Hey.
Howdy. What's going on? How are things over on the other side of the United States of America in beautiful Florida?
Well, it's not bad. I have to tell you, good to see you, Charlie. And boy, that guy called it right on the head, right? They actually got there.
That freaky Robert Welch from 1958.
So he was spot on accurate. And, they actually did it. And the only thing they haven't done is finished it. And they certainly were close. Okay. So, now the next step is to dismantle it all. I don't have that power, but, certainly Trump has the ability to do it. He's been well on his way. And let's hope that he could pull it all off in the next 3.5 years.
I hope so too, but the media is certainly not going to help him. Thank God for alternative media and Newsmax, One American News, and Fox are about the only conservative voices out there on any kind of large platform. And Fox, I do believe in many ways, has been infiltrated. The most amazing thing is where I hear people on my own side of the aisle saying, well, we have to hear both voices and we have to reach across the aisle. No better way to get me not to vote for you than telling me you're going to reach across the aisle. They're not interested in anything that we have to say. We're not even invited to the party. In California, where I am, Republicans are not even included in planning sessions for these bills. They're excluded. Behind closed doors crap going on because they have a super majority. They don't care. Why would they listen to us for anything? They want to usher in their new world order and their one world government just as quickly as possible, doing their father's work just before his time is short, trying to get this stuff done. And it's been happening. Do you think there's any possibility of an actual Republican winning the governorship of California next year in November?
Charlie, I sure hope so. The issue is that, we've already learned that, the Democrats will do anything to retain power. They'll cheat. So the question is
murder.
Or murder. The question is, will Trump be able to eliminate the machines and be able to eliminate mail-in voting? I mean, because, in your state, will they allow it? I had a conversation. I was at the Broward County Republican Party event, this fundraiser, and I was sitting next to somebody who told me that, all that stuff I just described is actually coming. So you don't know it yet. Now, whether it's true or not remains to be seen. I mean, if it was that good of information, I have no reason not to believe him, but he said that Trump's going to seize control of all the states and through a executive order as like a state of emergency of some way. And he's going to seize control of all voting and say, look, there's no more machines. Everything's mail-in ballot, or everything's ballots and no mail-in ballots.
Paper ballots and person voting.
And they're bringing all their people in every place, most likely be all over California, but probably the swing states, because he doesn't have to worry about Texas and Florida and stuff like that. So it'll be specific places.
There is a silent majority. My biggest job is to get them to start talking and even screaming and yelling. I'm sick of being the silent majority. I have been for a long time. But I do believe in the United States of America, the majority. That will kill the Democrat Party for good. That will be the final nail in that coffin.
The Democratic Party's already dead. They just don't know it yet. It's going to happen right after the midterms. The Democratic Party will be dismantled. Okay, so I'm just going to give you an idea of being a Democrat and what that means and what you stand for. You stand for illegal aliens. You stand for higher crime. You want to defund the police. What else do you stand for? You stand for having children have sex changes without the parents' knowledge. Okay, you stand for. To think of the other things. I'm just trying to think of them off the top of my head, but everything that they stand for, most people are opposed to. Look, I get there's people that don't have kids that go, yeah, if you think that boy is a woman, you should chop it off. But when you have your own kid, that's when it becomes a problem. So anybody that has a child, can you name one Democrat that if they got a call from the school saying you go pick your kid up at the hospital, we just had a sex change done on your child, do you think they go, oh my God, I'm so happy you did that? Nobody would say that. Okay. There would be nobody that, but what? Okay. Nobody would say that. So everything they stand for represents about 0.1% of the population. Okay. Right. And so I'm sorry. So if what I said becomes true and Trump eliminates, the ability for them to be able to use mail-in voting, and by the way, by the end of the night, if you don't have the votes counted, whatever you got is what's there. Okay. It's over. So they will lose, and they will lose massive, because name one thing other than I described that they stand for. We already know what they stand against, and we already know what they stand for. They have no leader, number one. Number two, they're not saying we need to do this. We just need to stop him. He's making too much sense. We got to get rid of him. Okay. And that's not a party. That's just opposition. And so, no, I couldn't imagine that party, once they get annihilated in the midterms, they will control nothing. Nothing. I mean, there's no reason to even be part of that group. They're already having trouble raising capital because they still owe millions of dollars from Kamala's campaign. We need a donation. Right. By the way, we owe like millions to all the advertising that we did. She didn't pay the bill, so you got to pick up the tab. All I would say is F you. I'm not paying for it.
Well, let's say in a perfect world that does happen, and Kenny, I can only imagine. John Lennon. A world with no Democrats. No. It's easy if you try. No murder below us, above us. I can only imagine. Let's say though, let's talk about what you and I know best, and that's the media. They're not going to suddenly come over to the right side and go, you know what, I guess we were wrong. God, family, and country, that's where it's all at. And that's how we're going to change our reporting and start encouraging that instead of tearing it down. They're not going to do that, because we've already seen they'll operate at a loss just for the sake of ABC is a fine example. Disney bought ABC. ABC's been leaking and hemorrhaging money for how long, and viewership, but yet they keep it because it props up Disney, which is who owns them, props up Disney Corporation. There's fine examples of throughout network television and even cable. Why is CNN still doing what they're doing when they're hemorrhaging money? MSNBC, how is that thing even still broadcasting? They're so broke because they have an agenda. They don't care. They're operating at a loss. Their corporations propping this up. Brought to you by Pfizer. They're not going to stop. Let's say the Democrat Party went away, just like you said, and they don't get their little one world government, at least here in the United States of America. What's the media going to do?
They're going to collapse too, Charlie. It's inevitable. It's like saying, when the automobile was first built, Charlie, you're not going to need that horse and buggy in the near. Oh, I'm always going to have a horse and buggy. I need extra whips. Yeah, well, go buy one. Okay.
Go to the whip catalog. Now that
it's
means something different.
so now let's fast forward 20 years. Everybody has a car. Nobody rides around on a horse. It's just the way it is. So all it's the same thing. It's a paradigm. So the Democratic Party is really the media, right? It's what they are. And once they lose well, first of all, it doesn't matter. It's the ad money. Okay. So just for the viewers, just so you understand, do you know how many people are on TikTok? Do you have any idea? Do you know how many people are on Instagram? Do you know how many people are on Facebook? You know how many people are on YouTube? Okay. It's in the billions a day. Okay. A day. Do you know that there's 600 million active users on X? There's 2.4 billion active users on Facebook. My point is the money goes where the people are. This is not rocket science. Okay. This is really simple. So are you telling me that it cost me to be on your network? So how many people viewed you last month? Well, we're Fox News. We had 1 million people. Well, there's 1 billion on this website right here. Okay. And how much do you charge? Charlie, this is a perfect question to ask. What does it cost you to put on the show? What do you think the actual physical cost is?
My
How
little
much
show,
did you lay out today to do the show with me?
it's a few $100 a month.
A month. Okay, so let's break that down a day. $10? $10?
All right.
Okay. What do you think it costs to produce just the 5 on Fox? What do you think it costs? We're talking payroll for everybody there. What do you think it costs?
Oh, good heavens. Oh, that's a great question. Do you have those stats? I'd love to know.
Well, I don't, but I can tell you that
Let's speculate.
just to operate that, let's just do the 5. What do you think they make in payroll? You think anyone there makes less than $1 million?
No. And you got crew, you got union because they shoot out of New York.
Okay,
You got
so there's 5 people there. Let's pretend they make $100,000 a month. Well, you cost 30,000. That one show just for payroll was 500,000. Now you have all the lighting, you have all the electricity, you have the building. The point is that's just one show. So that show to operate it is astronomical. They're probably at, 100 million a month. And you see what I mean? And you're talking about $300. Okay. I mean, this is petty. And that's for a month. You're talking $10 to produce the show today. It's $10.
right.
Okay, that's why they can't survive. So let's say that you're a newspaper and the newspaper prints 100,000 copies, right? And delivers them because people want to be informed with information. Well, what does it cost to print a 30, 40-page newspaper? I don't know the answer, but it's not free and it's not $10. Okay, it's probably a couple, $2, $3 a paper times 100,000, which is 200,000 or 300,000 for the day to distribute that information. Okay. To distribute the information costs that much money. Do you know how much it takes to put up a website and distribute the same information? About $10 a day. Okay.
Right.
The same story, the same everything. It doesn't matter. The point is, how do you compete with cost? It's over. They just haven't waved the flag yet. It's over. Okay. Now you take all networks combined, Fox, CBS, ABC, NBC. What do you think total viewership is for the day? I'll tell you what it is. It's not going to be more than 2 or 3 million. Okay. What does Joe Rogan do in one show? 11 million.
Yes. Yes.
So take the networks for a week, all combined. Joe Rogan's bigger than one show. In one show. Okay. What do you think's going to happen? It's over. This is why I keep telling people you're actually witnessing the death of an industry, but you're watching the replacement come in, and there's no liberals in there. There's none. Okay. Want to know why? Because their voice, they already have, well, we don't need it. Well, we don't need to create another Facebook. There already is one. We don't need to create another YouTube. They've already got us covered. Okay?
But for conservatives, to me, to be able to get their message out to a much larger, huge group, the places that you mentioned on social media are very controlled by the left. You mentioned Facebook, you mentioned Instagram owned by Facebook. They just deleted every one of my pages a little over 2 months ago. for something I violated the community standard. I'm not even welcome on the platform. I can't even watch anything that anybody posts on Facebook because I've been banned from the platform.
Me too.
YouTube, you mentioned YouTube, which is also huge, huge, huge. Your statistic, the largest search engine in the world next to Google. Well, who do you think owns YouTube?
So
It's Google.
I get it. What I'm
So
saying,
they are silencing us and they're shutting us down. And all they have to do, they could pull the plug like that. They wouldn't even care. It wouldn't affect them that hard because of their huge reach.
okay, so that I get. First of all, I don't have a crystal ball, but the part about the mainstream media going out of business, you don't need one. You're actually really stupid if you don't see that. Okay, they went from millions a day to now maybe 1 million a month. Okay, but it's that bad. So they're all hemorrhaging money. And the reason is, and by the way, when I told you the age demographic 25 to 54, which represents roughly 130 million people, they only had 500,000 viewers on network television. That's, I mean, if you're looking at a chart,
money demo.
Well, but the point is the money demo. It's exactly, here's our audience. If you're Pfizer, you're going to go, well, that's all my people, all the old people. We don't care. But if you're any other business, you're going to be like, well, I could spend $100,000 on social media and I could get the same as I spend with you for $1 million. It's the truth. Okay. 10 cents on the dollar. So what would you do? You're reaching the same amount of people, probably getting a better effect. Okay. And so, I had a conversation with a gentleman who advertises because he's looking for the older demographic. So for him, the radio, talk radio works because it's, 65 to 75 crowd and all his people are there. But once that goes away, he's got to figure out where to find those people, but all those people, will be on social media. So, I'm talking about on, Rumble. Here's what I do think. I think that as this progresses, if Trump could do what he says and eliminate taxes and, bring prosperity to the people and eliminate a lot of the federal government, I think the Democratic Party is going to implode because what do you represent? He's trying to fix everything to make everything better for us. And so how are you going to help me? It sounds to me like he's screwing you. Okay. And this is what you don't like because he's helping me. So I think as all this plays out over the next 3.5 years, you're going to see a complete collapse of the media. But before Trump's end, just a prediction. I don't know how accurate it's going to be because it's an echo chamber and nobody's listening because nobody gives a shit anymore. And they're done with it. So what I see happening, and this is not going to be good news for Rumble, is I think YouTube's going to go back to, because Trump is going to lay so much freaking pressure on him. Okay. The feds are going to come down on him. This is free speech. This is a public utility. This is what we want. This is what the people want. If you're not going to get it, we're going to seize the asset.
Monopoly too. Okay. Google owned by YouTube.
Rather than get into that mess, they're going to say, we'll take anybody back who wants to go. Now you hate them, but you're going to go. Okay. And you're going to get on your channel. You're going to talk about how the people at Rumble are crap. And, it doesn't matter. The point is, it's going to really hurt Rumble if everybody moves over to YouTube. It's not going to help. Okay. But look, I mean, and by the way, I don't know this to be true, but I think it's the natural progression because you can't be a company that censors free speech when your whole party just was annihilated and is gone and everybody's going, what the hell?
Okay. Good. Because that's what I was looking for. What's going to happen to them? Because they're not going to change their ways. They're not, despite what the majority wants. They don't care. They have an agenda. So you just answered that beautifully. They're going to have to.
They're going to do it because the people are going to demand it. What are you doing? What do you stand for? You stand for the party that doesn't exist anymore? I mean, is this what you want? You want, look, our company got kicked off of Facebook. We got banned. But let me tell you why.
Your news got kicked.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So, like my temper, my anger, I mean, you know what I want to do. Okay. So that being said, I'm going to tell you why they did it. Are you ready for this? And this I've heard it before, but I have somebody that handles that stuff. The last post, remember when Trump got shot in Pennsylvania? So breaking news, Trump shot at an event or rally or whatever it was. And that was when they went, shut our account down because we were breaking the news. I don't know, but every other news outlet did it, but they wanted me. So I look forward to the day I run into Zuckerberg. That's all I'm going to tell you.
I know. And when they deleted all my pages, I've written every email address I could possibly find. Good luck contacting anyone at Meta, which is a parent company.
You won't. So
there's not even a phone number. You can't call and go, could somebody please help me with this? Could you tell me what the problem was? How can I make this right? Because my whole life, I've been with Facebook from the beginning.
You don't need them.
2007, 2008. I mean, my whole life on there with my photos and interviews and things that I've done, my experiences and everything's just gone. And I was using that kind of like that. And again, this is my mistake. Thinking this is great. Everybody likes it. Everybody's on there. Why do I need to encourage any other platforms and build up viewership there? I don't care. As long as I got Facebook. Look what just happened. They really screwed me. I can't get a hold of anybody. And Zuckerberg sat there at Trump's inauguration looking all high and mighty and going, well, we're going to be kinder, gentler towards conservatives. What a freaking lie that was.
Yeah, it was a complete lie. So don't ask me why Trump's bringing him in. It's got to be some kind of strategy because
the guys he just had him in again at the White House.
Had him in again. So, I feel like at some point in time when I get into that, I'm going to say, why is this piece of shit here? Okay, what did you bring him for? Get him out. Or I'll leave, one or the other. I really don't care. Get him out. It's all going to work its way out and play out the way it's going to play out. The key here is that Trump's able to execute on what he's doing. And the only way to do that is to get rid of the rigged elections because they will get annihilated. Imagine not being able to bring in truckloads of votes and wait 3 weeks until they all come in and you can put them all together and then have a defense for it. So they're going to bring in, now keep in mind, this is what I was told. They're going to bring in all their own people to watch over the whole damn thing. So could you imagine having about 10 people from the Trump organization, lawyers sitting there that are all mandated to can't get rid of them, watching everything in every single swing state in every district? You're screwed because how are you going to cheat? They're going to catch you on everything. You probably have FBI agents sitting there ready to haul you off, and they'll probably stand up and say, look, just letting you know, if we catch you cheating, you're going to prison right now. I got the cuffs. Good luck.
The brilliance of this is, how's the media going to cover this? I pray that this happens. How will they cover it? Because what are they going to say? They're spending your tax dollars to protect your vote.
Nobody cares anymore, Charlie. No, that's the whole point.
This is awesome.
Yeah. So keep in mind, these are predictions, but they make logical sense to me. If you're going to try and stop all the cheating, how do you do it? You got to have boots on the ground, right? You got to be watching everything. He's going to have, and states, allowed to do it themselves. This is because that was my argument. I said, well, how could you go to a state and tell them and dictate to them what to do? And then you said you do it through a national emergency, which now you invoke your own powers and you bring them in.
And election fraud is the federal crime.
So, which now we don't believe you anymore.
State election.
Yeah. So my guess is that's coming. Okay. That I couldn't have been. I mean, look, if I could figure it out, I ain't smarter than him. Okay. So he's got to be able to figure this stuff out. I mean, this is just easy. So I think that the Democratic Party's in for a rude awakening. I think the just FYI. So this whole Charlie Kirk thing, it's the media is at fault. It's them that did this. Okay, completely, right? And so they need to go, but it's going to be a painful death for them.
Let me throw this out for anybody who's going, well, the media is not completely responsible. Let me ask you this. If there were conservatives, if there were Republicans up there talking the way we've heard Democrats talk at campaign speeches, at events, in interviews, they would have screamed. They would have deleted. They would have edited. They would have cut that part out. They would have gone black. They would have done all these things that they've done to conservatives who have actually talked about what they are doing, like them turning off their cameras whenever Trump mentioned the fake media. this is wonderful. I hope this happens. I hope you're right on all of this, or whomever you're talking to there in Broward County. This would be awesome. I'm not going to mourn it. I've had my own fellow conservatives say, well, we need a two-party system. Well, no, actually, that's not the way our constitutional republic was set up. It was set up for let the best person win. That's how it was set up, despite what party they belong to. So the Democrats have cheated and lied and coerced and stolen in such ways for decades now.
Charlie, they're horrible human beings. Okay, they're horrible human beings.
For the most part, I fully agree with you.
Just if the audience doesn't know, they don't represent the people. They represent.
No, and I hear that too. Well, they love their country too. No, they don't.
No, if they love their country, they would have never set up NGOs to funnel money to the NGO for some nonprofit, like giving money to children in diapers in Haiti, and then that money doesn't even go there. It gets funneled back to their organization. And then they're out of it because, we gave it to them and we can't control what they do with it after, even though 100% of it comes back to us. Come on. I mean, this is just common sense. So it's basically legal money laundering because they wrote the law. I did not give it to me. They gave it to me. I gave it to them with good intentions. They just made the decision to go, oh my God, here you go. We'll bring it back to you, which then funnels back to me. They gave it to the Democratic Party. So they need to be gone. They're here to steal and to take everything you possibly have until there's nothing left. So now I'm going to give you another one, which I don't know if it's ever going to be pulled off. In order to solve this problem, there's only one real way to do it. And that one way would be to completely eliminate all the money out of DC. I'm talking about you can't give a nickel to any country for anything ever. You can't give a nickel to any nonprofit ever. If there's a problem, let another nonprofit raise their own money to help. And if they don't
private sector,
tough shit. Yep. Okay, so all of that, including, by the way, you cannot accept a campaign donation. You certainly no more lobbyists. It's a lobbyist is now a criminal organization. They should you can't lobby, can't take a nickel from anybody. It'll change everything. And by the way, there's zero pay for being a politician, not a penny, which means you're actually a representative of the people. So you're here to work for the people in your area. You're not our leader. You're a representative of the district that you control or whatever the market is. So now here's what'll happen. All the people that are criminals are going to go, well, this bank is out of money, so I got to go rob another bank somewhere else. They'll just figure another scam. These are just high-level scammers is what they are. They're high-level criminals, and they've been able to leverage the politics to be able to make all their money. This is why these people have way more. How much is Jasmine Crockett worth? You tell me that.
I'm certainly it's 28 times more than what she was when she entered office.
So I saw something that says she went into office and she was worth like 11,000 or something like that. And so now it's seven figures. Don't ask me what it is. I don't know if it's accurate or not, but here's the point.
It's dumber than a box of Crockett's.
Okay. I would never hire her for anything. Okay. Not even for sexual favors. So I don't even know what to say. I mean, she's useless as far as I'm concerned, so that's
why you're not invited onto Fox News, Sam Anthony. Those kind of comments right there.
Oh, you got to be kidding me. They wouldn't like that? I would have thought they would have loved that. Fine, I'll hire her for sexual favors. Okay, does that make you feel better?
Greg Gutfeld, he'd get a kick out of it. He'd have you on. Because you're great. I have no idea why you're not on Fox and all these other networks, but maybe because you're saying, hey, by the way, you're going away. Maybe that's why they don't want you on.
Look, they'll have me on at some point, but the whole purpose here is that the legacy media is not going to survive. This is easy.
Thank God.
What's going to replace it is what I do. I mean, and we're going into this, but this is this whole Charlie Kirk thing is because of the media, right? Which means what I'm doing is actually even more important because these people we need to make sure this never happens again. So you need not only a fair and balanced media, but you need people-powered press. And it's we the people that are rising up, this whole MAGA movement, where we need to control the narrative, not what the network TV stations decide is a big story. So if you ever notice, all the network TV stations, when that poor Ukraine girl was killed, zero coverage.
It
Okay.
was, you're absolutely right. Zero nationally and even regionally, just local was covering it. It wasn't until the transit system there in Charlotte, North Carolina released the surveillance footage that all of a sudden all hell broke loose for them. And then the media had to report on it. But even then, they didn't show it.
So this is where, nobody turns to them anymore because you get better information on TikTok. Think about it. I mean, you do. I find everything out on social media. I don't look to the network TV stations, and all this stuff is on our platform. So, my wife comes in and says, hey, can you believe this is happening? I open up your news. It was my lead story. I'm like, yes, we got that on our site. The point is we have everything, but on top of it, we're getting local news, Charlie. I can't even, there's stuff that I should not know that I know, like the school buses that are being bought in Cato Parish or whatever it is. Like, why is this important to me? It's not, but this is all the content coming in that goes to, I think it's Shreveport, Louisiana market, So
Shreveport,
whatever.
Shreveport.
So, Shreve.
And it's not Louisiana, it's Louisiana.
Is it Shriek or Shrek? Which one is it, Shrek or Shriek?
That's another thing I love about what you do and why it's so cool in yournews.com, which ultimately we're going to come down to a little infomercial for that. But he's not going to tell you, I am. You can hyper local your news search, or as a contributor, a reporter, a broadcaster, a podcaster, you can hyper local. For example, I just did a show with some folks in Northern California who are putting on a great event with the guy who's running for governor next year. I'm going to put that on your news. I can put in the area codes or the region of California so that it will appear to anybody who looks for it there. You can hyper local it, and you can also go regional or national or worldwide. Like I'm on there too. Just look for me at Charlie Simons on yournews.com, and you'll find me there. We want to get more people like me, like us, our voice on news platforms like this, and we've been shut down and shut up and not permitted and deleted. Now you have a place. Yournews.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the page. I just turned somebody on to this just the other day, an actual podcaster, and go, look right there. Contribute, be a contributor. And you can also, you're growing, you're expanding like crazy. So you need some cash. So if you're looking for a place to invest and actually buy stock in and invest in the growth of the future of media as we know it, that's at the bottom of the page too. Just go to yournews.com, scroll down to the bottom, you'll find everything there. Sam does great work and is tireless in his efforts. I'll tell you what. And I just admire and respect you so much, and I thank you for coming on. But we didn't get to talk. Well, I don't know how much time you have, but we were going to talk about what happened in Charlotte with that murder. We did cover it some about how the media did not show any of it, but look what happened again with social media when we, the people, got a hold of that footage of what actually happened. That the media had shut down. The biggest lie they tell is by omission. It was social media, once again, that went, boom, this happened. What do you think about it? What are you going to do about it? What do you say about it? How are you going to stop this from happening all the time? And that discussion has taken it to a national platform where Karoline Leavitt, I'm not thinking
press
of
her press secretary.
Thank you, Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt talked about it extensively and brought it out with all the people in media in the room that may have been there, not reporting on it. And now it went out on a huge platform. President Trump has addressed what happened as well. And I was thinking with the Charlie Kirk thing and what happened to that immigrant from Ukraine who was escaping the war, came here to have a safer and better life. What happened to her? If you haven't seen the video,
Don't.
yeah, it's hard to forget, isn't it?
It's horrible.
Yeah.
But I didn't sleep for 2 days. Okay. All this for what? Look, I get if you have an enemy and you hate that enemy. I get that. This girl wasn't doing anything. She was what, 100 pounds, maybe? I mean, just a
That
little
man
bit.
hated her because she was white, but
Okay.
yet nobody has ever called it what it obviously was, a hate crime, because he
Completely.
literally said at one point, "I got that white girl."
Yeah, well, let's hope that they crucify him. You know, we need to bring back beheadings. Just letting you know, public beheadings. I think I'm kidding. I mean, the
I think
problem
the
is,
heading is too easy. It's over too quickly. I'm all about the hanging.
no. Because
Let 'em
when
dangle
people
there for a
watch
while.
that, when you're watching something like that, you're gonna go, I ain't doing that shit.
I ain't doing that.
I ain't doing that shit. That ends it all. Okay.
It,
You know, here's the other thing. So did you see that they GoFundMe set up a page for the guy who shot Kirk, and they raised a ton of money for it, right? People were donating. Okay, what the hell is wrong with people? So now what really needs to happen is the feds need to go and arrest everybody for donating to a terrorist. Okay.
you know, GoFundMe also pulled down the page that was put up for her family to get help with funeral costs or whatever.
Why did she
needed.
not go to Give Send Go? Okay, so I
They
want you to
did.
think,
And Gibson Gold pulled that page down.
not Give Send Go. They won't do it. Give Send Go is one of us. You're thinking GoFundMe.
Oh, excuse me. My apologies. Oh, I want to take that all back. I don't want anybody to think anything badly about Gibson Go. You're absolutely right. My apologies. GoFundMe pulled down the page that somebody had put up to raise money for her family for funeral costs or whatever. GoFundMe are filthy, wicked, freaking communists.
Completely. Yeah.
Awful.
Look,
Give
Charlie,
Send Go is the alternative to it, the Christian alternative, as a matter of fact.
exactly.
Nonprofit crowdfunding, givesendgo.com. You'll find me there, givesendgo.com/do not talk.
Here's the reason I'm bringing this up. All the people who donate to that, the Fed should walk into GoFundMe and say, we need a list of every person who donated to that, the end. Then you go and you arrest every single one of them. And you let them spend 20, 30,000 to get out of all that stuff, right? Then the next person does it. I ain't gonna give to that. I ain't giving shit. And that's the end of it. You want to solve the problem? You scare them to death. You make them cost them money. I mean, look,
like they did to the J6ers. But what do you say to people who on our side will say, well, we want to be above that. We don't want to drop down to their level. We don't want to be like them. What do you say to those Republicans who say that crap?
well, it's what you're doing. So then fine. Then what you're saying is that you agree with people that are trying to help other people that are murderers and killers. You're good with that. So which means that something's wrong with you. There's no above. It's those people are aiding and abetting. And now they're trying to help them out of it. Okay. So let the person help themselves out of it. This is not like something where he was arrested and we don't have any evidence. The guy admitted it. Okay. They got him dead to rights. This is easy. So now I'm giving money to that. That goes to show where you're at. That goes to show where your heart is. You know, these are people that are faithless people. They have no interest in helping anybody. They're cold-hearted people. And so when you're giving money to something like that, that should be the first clue. That guy's the problem. So, okay, so how do you stop this from happening? You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in a court of law. You arrest them. You bring them to jail. And then you get lawyers. You start prosecuting these people. They got to get their own lawyers. And by the way, if you get a GoFundMe page, you're going to jail for that too. Pay for it yourself with your own crime.
Just like
I'm
they
sorry.
did to the J6ers.
You know what? You're part of the problem if you're not part of the solution.
Irina Zarutska.
Is her name? Yeah.
Yeah, that was a horrible thing. When I watch something like that, being the sheepdog that I am, my first thought is, man, I wish I would have been there.
Me too.
Because I watched all these people on that train car do nothing, sit there, do nothing. Didn't even assist after the fact. That didn't happen until, wow, it was like 5-10 minutes later, where somebody finally went over there and started trying to help her and say, hey, are you okay? Hey, are you okay? Nobody did a thing. They all just sat there, and I think always that's my first thought. I wish I would have been. It would have been a very totally different story if I would have been there.
Well, he stabbed her in the neck, from what I understand, and then just walked right off. It was quick. So most people probably didn't even see it. You know, you could have been just looking out the window and it did it to the side of you.
There were people sitting right across from her. They saw it. They saw it
Then
happen.
that-
Then they
you
let
know,
him
so-
just stand on the other side of the train car, at the other end of the train car. They let him just stand there at the door waiting for it to open while he was trying to doctor up his stupid hand that he cut himself while he's stabbing her in the throat. And nobody, again, said anything. Nobody did anything. Nobody tried to restrain him.
Yep. Charlie, this is the world we live in today. So, you know, why do you think we're in the mess we're in? It's because you have these liberal judges who are letting these people off. There's nothing good that comes out of liberalism. Okay. It's a disease. And so they can't function in society. When facts don't matter, you're never going to solve the problem. Okay. Look at global warming and all that crap. Okay. Have you ever took any time to look to see about ice ages and how many have come around? Now, it's been a while since I've done it, but I'm going to give you a number that is probably fairly accurate. It's going to be, so did you know there were points in the history of Earth where there was no ice on either pole? Did you know that? Okay. Did you know that there were times where there was ice ages, more than one, where the ice came down and almost covered a whole Earth, except Florida was the only place that didn't have to. But do you know what the cycle pattern is? Do you know what it is?
No.
It's every 400 to 600 million years. I don't remember what it was. Maybe it's 6, but we're already due. Like, we're overdue for the next one. So there's going to be an ice age again. Okay. And then, so when you're talking Earth numbers, that might take, 6 million years. We won't even be here. Right. But then it'll creep back and then it'll come. So, but it's normal weather patterns is what it is. There's nothing that's changed. It's all the same. And so right now we're just going through weather like every other time in history. And there's going to be a point where there's another ice age. There's 100% chance. We may not see it, but there will be a chance. And then there's going to be a point where there's no polar ice cap. So here's what I want to know. When there was no ice caps on both poles, did the sea rise and go over the whole ocean or all over the land? No, it's all bullshit. It's all lies. It's all crap. And people believe it. Okay.
Yeah.
They actually, and then when you actually show them the facts, they're like, "Oh, I don't want to hear that. I want to shoot you."
No, exactly. I want to shut you up for daring.
What
to
does
say it.
Charlie's thing says? It says, "Prove me wrong." You just come up and have a conversation. And then all of a sudden he's throwing all these facts at you, and they hate that. They want to hear, "I agree with you. You're right. The sun might not come up tomorrow. I think we got a good shot."
Yeah, we better get a government program to fix that right away.
Yes, and let's spend it. How much money you got? Well, let's get it. Yeah, let's start with you. How much you going to fund? How many you got in your bank account? Let's do it. So, we want all these illegals in. Honestly, I think that, we should have people that want to come into this country. They should have the ability to be able to do it legally. But I got a really good way to do it. Charlie, would you give a nickel for an illegal to come in here? Would you pay for their lifestyle? Would you? In other words, this
no
is what
questions asked. I mean,
Okay, so
do I get to ask them why they want to be here?
Each illegal is going to cost, let's put a number out, $50,000 a year. Okay. Would you pay that to have somebody here that's illegal?
No.
Okay. So you don't want to pay. Okay. So I don't want to pay. So why don't we set up a GoFundMe page for the people that want illegals to be here so they can give them a lifestyle, and based on the amount of money that comes in, we'll determine how many illegals can come in. How's that sound? So this way, only the people that want them. I bet you we don't have 2 people come. Okay.
Exactly.
They want it as long as
they're so free with everybody else's money.
Oh, yeah. So they got to pay,
general, isn't it? That's socialism right there.
Completely.
Right.
I want.
Listen, you're a treasure. I look forward to seeing you on Jesse Waters' show. I'd like to hear you two go at it, or Greg Gutfeld on Fox.
Greg would be actually good with me because we could really crack jokes and talk,
you two, yeah, that'd be a kick. But in the meantime, thanks for being on my little old show once again, my friend. Yournews.com, Sam Anthony. Check it out. Get your news from there now. Yournews.com. All right, my friend. Talk to you later. I want to encourage you once again, too, to go to my website, please. There it is right there below you. CharlieSimons.com. CharlieSimons. Spell my name that way because my middle name is Lee, Charles Lee. So I started spelling it that way when I was a kid. And then as I got older, girls, women, females started spelling it that way too. So now I have, it's so funny, just recently, I was Googling Google, my enemy, but it was quick and it was right there. I was Googling my name with somebody who had been on the show because I was trying to find the video again that I'd been on with them. And at one of those AI descriptions popped up and it kept calling me she and her. Yeah, no. And that's because of the way I spell my name. There you go. At least you can't forget it. CharlieSimons.com. You can financially support me there too, if you don't mind. Sure would help. Buy me a cup of coffee. Buy me a tank of gas, even better. May God bless you and keep you. May God bless America. But most importantly, America, bless God. Awesome, Sam. All right, here we go. We're clear. We're clear.
So this woman, Susan, doesn't like